What is up, YouTube family? We are back at it one more again, and we now know who the 47th president of the United States is. It is Donald J. Trump. What we tried to tell y'all all along for the last how many months. If you didn't understand that this was going to be a blowout for Donald Trump, then what the fuck were you watching? What kind of bubble were you really in? Because me and the people that I roll with and the people that I get my information from, even some of the AI information that we get, everything was telling us that Trump was going to win. We even predicted it better than some of the AI technology and some of the professional pundits and even the big time YouTubers. You know, I told all my people that this would not be close from day one. I told everybody that he would win majority of the swing states. I got all the receipts, all the screenshots, all the text messages, all the Facebook posts, and of course I got the YouTube videos to prove it. So with that being said, yes, I'm here to gloat, because if it was the other way around, everybody would have been all in my shit. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't just about me gloating or even saying that I'm some kind of special psychic. You know, a lot of people, they calling me the Oracle and all kinds of shit like that, right? Because I be predicting sports shit too. You could check my sports channel for that shit. It's pretty wild. But yeah, you know, when it comes to politics, see, with sports, you know, you have to be able to judge talent. You have to be able to see it. It takes a special eye to see certain little things that determine whether somebody's going to be great or not. It's actually not that hard for me to see, but it's just so crazy. You can have GMs in the NFL that go 10, 20 years and just can't discover talent, or they can't make the proper decisions when it comes to building teams and seeing who's talented or not, right? But when it comes to politics, you can't judge talent. You can only judge the words that's coming out of their mouths. You can judge whether somebody's lying or not. That takes a little bit of skill. You can tell if somebody's fake or not. You can tell if somebody's authentic, right? But mostly you're going off of past results, history, and just what their policies are. And you have to take them, you know, at their word in case you don't believe that they're telling the truth. So there is some talent that comes in there and picking that, but for the most part, it's really common sense. This was the election of pure common sense. They keep saying that the Republicans are the party of common sense, and now I understand exactly what they mean, because the majority of the shit was not rocket science. You know, we could go through it. You know, just the fact that Trump's the two assassination attempts he survived, you know, that alone is like, yo, who survives that? Who bounces up and yells, fight, fight, fight? Like, it's just one of those monumental historical moments that's going to forever go down in history, unless you believe that it was a stage event and that he wiped ketchup on his face. If you believe that, then you on some other shit. But for the rest of us, you know, we saw that, and it was a historical moment that will always go down in history. And you know, just like I told people, you know, from way back, I said, I just cannot believe that he's going to go through assassination attempts, all these felony charges, impeachments, all these different hurdles that he's went through and survived, and then get all the way to the election and then have a dud, have a letdown on election day. You know, this is like preordained at this point. And what's really crazy, if you really want to get into it, it kind of looks like like a supernatural spirit was involved here. I'm not gonna get too deep into that. I'll save that for another video because I definitely want to talk about that in depth, but not today. So Trump has won. Kamala had, it was, to me, it was just a shit show campaign from day one. We saw all the flaws and all the mistakes that her and her campaign made, and now all of that shit is really coming out to light at a tremendous level that I didn't even predict. But it's really not nothing new. They're talking about how much money she pays celebrities, and everybody's in shock because of that. And I'm like, we called that in real time. We knew that Beyonce was getting paid. We knew that Eminem and Cardi B were getting paid. So that's nothing to see there. But I have another video on my channel. You can look it up, that breaks down all the mistakes, or majority of the mistakes that she did make, because people are talking racism and misogyny and all kinds of shit that is just not true. Trump won because people believed that he was the more competent candidate over Kamala Harris. She just didn't look like she showed enough credibility and strength in the eyes of adversity. And the famous quote that I say is, I'm like, if you can't handle Anderson Cooper, how are you going to handle Putin and Xi in North Korea? Like, come on, man. That was what won the election. But this video is about moving forward. What do we expect now? A lot of people are shaking in their boots on the Democrat side, and it goes back to what I said back in 2016. I said, telling everybody to breathe, to relax, to chill out, and focus on yourself, bettering yourself, your family, and your money, because there will be opportunities there for all three of those things. Now, that's what I said in 2016, and people said I was crazy. And then you saw nothing happened. Nobody was put in concentration camps. Nobody was, nobody had their rights violated. And he actually left office. People talk all this Hitler shit, and it's like, you think he would have left office if he was Hitler? He would have never left the first time. So that alone should have told everybody that all of that Hitler fascist shit was just rhetoric. It was fear mongering from day one. Project 2025 was never his plan. He's got a whole different agenda, and you're going to see it all playing out. We're going to go through some of it. So, the interesting thing about when he first became president was the very next day. I don't have the timeline order of these things, but the very first thing that I saw that I know was first was Hamas actually put out a report saying that they wanted to discuss peace talks now that Trump was going to be president. And that alone right there shows you exactly why everybody, well, 90% of the country voted for him, because he can make things happen in that fast. Just that fast, he can make things rock and roll. He's not even in the presidency yet. Now think about this. Here you have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in the White House. Joe Biden is in the White House, and you don't hear Hamas saying that they want to talk peaceful talks while Joe Biden's in office. When Kamala was talking about what she wanted to do, she's talking about what she's going to do in January, because she knows that she has no power right now as VP, or nobody respects her with that power as VP. Even though she could go get some things shaking and moving, she was just saying, forget it, I'm running on a campaign. I'll wait till I get in as president. But she knows that, well, everybody should know by now that things were not going to jump like this if she became president, or if Joe Biden stayed president. The next thing you saw was Xi wanted to talk about, he wanted to talk to Trump. And he even actually said that the Western countries are not enemies. Trump already has everybody shaking in their boots. Big Daddy, the Don, is back. I told you, you need gangsters at the table when you're sitting at the table with a bunch of gangsters. You can't have a table full of gangsters and then expect, a pussycat to show up and think that it's gonna get respect. You know what I'm saying? You need another gangster like Tim Waltz showing up at the table with Putin and Xi and all them. They eat him for lunch. They would look at him as a straight up pussycat. You feel me? They're like, oh, you're the guy who was putting tampons in boys' bathrooms? No, you're not respected here. They will run his ass up out of whatever meeting he would be in. So you needed strong leadership. This is the reason why everybody voted for Trump. Not everybody voted for Trump, but while majority of the country didn't vote for Kamala. You needed strong leadership at the helm. Somebody who put fear in the hearts of these people. And you kind of needed somebody who was a little crazy. I kept telling people this. It's like, yo, you want somebody like Trump who's sane enough to not push the button. Like, if you think he's that crazy, then you haven't been paying attention. Why didn't he start World War III in his first presidency? We were more on the brink of World War III with Biden in office than Trump. So what does that tell you? It tells you that he's a responsible man. I mean, look at his career. Look at his track record. Right? Now, all his stuff hasn't been successful, but he's still a fucking billionaire. And now he's become president twice. So it kills me when people be talking about what has he done successfully. And it's like, do you not remember Trump hotels? Do you not remember that Mike Tyson fought in his hotel, had 15 different fights in his hotels? How many years is that? You remember Trump Plaza hotels. You remember Trump casinos. You remember the Trump buildings in New York, right? So the dude has had a proven track record of being successful and understanding and knowing business. To deny that is just asinine. You know what I'm saying? So you want a businessman running America because America is a capitalist society. It is a business. And the business is fucked up right now. The money is fucked up. It's like if you gave your garage business, your body shop business to your cousin and you leave the country and then you come back and you see all the revenue is fucked up. You see all the numbers down and you're like, yo, what happened? Like, I left you in charge of this. And you see, okay, we didn't go bankrupt. We didn't lose the business, but I need to step back in here, take this shit over and get this shit back on track. This is what Trump is planning to do now. So now, after Xi hit him up, you're seeing immediately Zelensky. He gets on the call with Zelensky. And then he's three-wayed with Elon Musk. It's like, why is he talking to Elon Musk? It's because he's trying to sweeten the deal when it comes to negotiations. He's trying to throw some Starlink satellites in there, some Starlink pads in there. He's trying to bring technology to Ukraine to say, hey, if you do a peace treaty with Putin, I'm going to sweeten the pot with some of my technology for you. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going on. He's not even the president yet. It's crazy. Now you have China talking about they want to get into discussions, over the Taiwan war or the battle for the South China Sea that's going on right now, right? North Korea has been quiet, but we all know that Trump and the president of North Korea, Kim Jong-un or Il, whatever his name is, we know that he's fond of Trump. Trump has already been there. He was the first president to go over there in how many years? and he will go over there and buddy it up with dude, make some jokes, and dude is like a big kid, so he knows exactly how to get with him and get him in line. So his biggest problem right now is Iran. Iran is trying to assassinate him. They just discovered the plot to have him assassinated, which they thought he was going to lose, so they were going to wait till after he lost to assassinate him because it's less security. But now you're seeing that Iran really has an issue with him, and it's almost to the point where it could be an act of war, right? So don't be surprised if you see Trump go to war with Iran. But he's not the president yet, so we'll see how that goes. Now, as far as moving forward, you're starting to see a lot of things come to fruition and a lot of things be much better this go round, because the first time he had a whole bunch of snakes and incompetent people around him, people that other people suggested for him, because he had no idea what to do, who to trust, and who to pick. So now this time he has a much better idea of who to pick and how to go about it. And the fact that he just has a team, an Avengers type team of RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy, he's got JD Vance, and he's got a list of others too. But just those four right there is like an Avengers type squad. Now you're seeing him, put them all to work with their own specialties, right? He just announced that Elon Musk and Vivek are going to be overseeing the government efficiency, So that means he already told you that he was going to have Elon doing auditing of the government and finding a whole bunch of unnecessary money that people had just been robbing the government for. And now that he has Vivek in there doing that with him, these are like the two of the smartest men on the planet working together. So you're having a full, well-oiled machine when it comes to government spending. Two guys that are pretty fair and pretty smart, but are going to be regulating, being played against or robbed, if you will, when it comes to contracts and different things like that as far as the government spending is concerned. They're also going to be, cutting out a whole bunch of corruption within these ranks. So cutting these people out and getting good people in, that's going to be an amazing thing to watch. The other thing is he addressed the trans community when it comes to being in girls' bathrooms and girls' sports. This was a major issue that everybody, wanted to have addressed. It was a main concern of mine. I spoke out on it all the time, and I actually had black women coming at me crazy, telling me to just go along with it and just let it happen, and even told me that there was nothing you could do about it. You might as well just lock your girls up, because regardless of who the president is, it's still going to happen. And now one of the first things you hear from Trump is him saying, no, that is not going to happen. So these people owe me a motherfucking apology. Arguing with me over common sense things. Of course, a boy who identifies as a girl is still a boy as far as bodily parts. You don't want them in the bathroom where the girl can see his privates, and they're not comfortable letting a guy see their privates. It's common sense, but on the Democrat side, common sense is just not so common nowadays. Also, Trump talked about, of course, immigration, sending illegal immigrants back home and putting them in the back of the line. First of all, you have to get the criminals out. The ones committing crimes and the ones that have criminal records, you have to get them out first. Because it just makes no sense that innocent citizens are being killed and raped by people who were never supposed to be here. There's nothing else to be said about that. I'm sorry. My heart goes out for all immigrants. My wife is an immigrant. But you have to go through a proper process to be legal. You can't just, unvettedly come across and then just start doing what you want to do and not be on the books and be collecting money under the table and collecting all kind of benefits over homeless people, over black people, over people of poverty, when and over veterans, people that have fought for this country. It's just not gonna happen. Like it's just wrong. And for the Democrats to be trying to pull their wool over our eyes throughout an election, try to act like that wasn't going on, it was just totally disingenuous. Like it was just ridiculous how I had people arguing this shit with me. And it's like, dude, don't you understand that there are legal immigrants here right now who are paying for their loved ones to get over here? They have to pay money and they have to wait years to have it done. These people just, this is why it's so important to travel, because people just don't get it. They just don't get it. Now, this is going to spark the biggest deportation movement that we've ever seen. Now, before you get your panties in a bunch, remember, Obama was called the deporter in chief. He deported 5.2 million illegal immigrants. So don't start that shit with me about this is unfair and how you're going to do this and how you're going to do that. You shouldn't have let them in here in the first place unless they went through the proper legal channels. So sending them home, as harsh and, inhumane as it may seem, Obama did the same thing. So don't be a hypocrite. Do not be a hypocrite, because you will get judged on that ASAP, because people remember that shit. Not all, but a lot of people remember Obama was the deporter in chief. Look it up. So, next, Trump addressed a lot of things when it came to education. He talked about lowering tuition, sending the Department of Education back to the states, which is where we want it, where we can control it better, where we can vote on the proper things that we want for our individual states and communities. We don't want education in our federal government where they can decide what they want to do and just switch it up with any kind of bill at any given time. We want the people to control the education that the children are having to see, and having to learn. Also, he gave school choice, where parents of all races can now send any of their kids to whatever school they want to when it comes to public schools. And you don't have to just remain in your district anymore. You might be, and it's like that helps black kids more than anybody, because if you're in a shitty environment, you're not subjected to send your kid to that local school. That your kid can go to a school across the county. It's just a matter of you getting them there, but that's what you wanted. You know what I'm saying? Parents sacrifice for their kids. So that was an amazing thing for him to be talking about different curriculums and different job programs and different things that are going to be taking place for people to advance their careers and advance their education. It's just going to be, if he can pull these things off, it's going to be pretty phenomenal. Like I said, also keeping, the genders separated. He talked about not having children be affected or being attacked with this whole transgender agenda where they're trying to turn these kids into the opposite sex or letting them do it just because they're questioning things or they're saying that they want to do these things even though their brain hasn't developed properly yet to understand what they want to do. So him putting in or trying to put in law that's going to stop these things is actually a wonderful thing, and it was one of my top priorities when it came to voting for a Donald Trump. And I didn't even vote for Donald Trump. I actually voted independently because the independents, Cornel West, they fight for the things that I need in my community immediately, specifically for the black community. So yes, that's why I voted that way. But overall, I definitely align more with the policies and the traditional values of the Republican Party. Now, I don't think I would ever become a Republican per se. I love being independent and I love being able to switch back and forth depending on how the parties switch. See, a lot of people don't realize that the Republicans are not the old Republicans that they knew from the racist years. See, that's what they're thinking about. And the Democrat Party is not who you're thinking about either. They're not your father's Democrats. They've turned into something else. They're full of the elite now. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a total reversal that a lot of people haven't paid attention to if you weren't watching it closely and studying it like we do on a daily basis. But yeah, so it's a lot of amazing things going on. He's talking about, you know, being the lead when it comes to flying cars. He said vertical transportation. These is flying cars. What he's talking about. He wants to lead in the race to being able to get that done, just like we raced to the moon back in the day. Right now, China and Japan are the leaders in flying cars. So he wants to invest in that, and that's going to be the future of America. And people can already see it coming. If you can't, once again, you're in a bubble. Also, modernizing and beautifying structures, houses, and different things in the community. I just told my girls the other day that it sucks that houses still look like we're in the 90s. Everything still looks like back when I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? It's 2024 and our technology just hasn't advanced like it's supposed to. Our infrastructure should have way more technology in it and futuristic, amazing, looking things than some of these other countries, just like Japan, China, Sweden. All these countries have all kind of different inventions and different pieces of technology. I mean, just their bathrooms alone make ours look shitty, pun intended. You know what I'm saying? We just don't have modernized bathrooms like in Japan. You go into the Japanese airport and you see the bathroom in the airport. It makes your bathroom look like some 1970s shit. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I'm definitely excited about that. Also, when it comes to building new cities, he talked about having 10 new cities being built, calling them freedom cities that are full of innovation and technology and just, the new wave of America, right? And I said, man, nobody's ever thought about that. It's like adding bigger cities. It's like, where's all the money going? And we know where it was going. It was going right to people's pockets. So now that Vivek and RFK are overseeing these things, You're not going to slide that bullshit past anybody anymore. You're going to have to deal with America directly and straight up. You're not going to be able to pull that bullshit that they've been pulling on all these other presidents for how long, you know. And there's a bunch of other things too, talking about Trump, getting children, internships and preparing them with trade trade education, in high school, giving them all kinds of opportunities for them to be successful outside of school. Because what we're seeing now is there's a lot of kids based on many different things that just aren't going to be academically inclined to go to college. They're going to need other options. They're going to need, other skill sets. So I just thought that was really amazing for him to talk about that. The other thing is, RFK Jr. is about to do a full-fledged attack against the FDA and the what is the other one? The USDA, the Food and Drug Administration, the CDC, all the bigwigs, big pharma. He is about to unleash the pit bull on all of these industries and all these different companies and CEOs. He even told them to pack your bags because I'm coming. So they got 2 months to get their shit together, because when RFK Jr. come up in there, he will shut your shit down. He's done it before. So all these different things with Trump being president is looking very promising. Whether you're a Trump supporter or not, there's no denying that this dude is on a mission this time. He's got all the right people in his cabinet. He's not talking this fascism, Hitler type shit. He's talking great, innovative ideas. And he has a lot of things that look like it's really going to be the golden age of America. And that's exactly what we're looking for. This is why the people voted against the Democrats. They tell me that I wasted my vote not voting for Kamala. I'm like, no, that vote still went against her. I could have voted for her, but I didn't. So it doesn't matter who I voted for. Trump was going to win regardless of my vote, right? But I wasn't going to be ready to to just sit on the couch and just, because if you sit on the couch, you can't complain. You have to just accept it. You can't say shit. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna just give up my vote and not use it for anything. So I gave my vote to Dr. Cornel West because I wanted to show support to the independent party. They work hard to build this thing and trying to get representation on the independent party, because I truly believe that black people need to have an independent party to be respected by the Democrats and the Republicans. And they're only going to respect you if you have your own movement and your own coalition and your own party, and you have big money with big donors and big backers and big investors. That's how you're able to come together at the table and really compete with everybody involved. So this is an exciting time. There's so many people out here that are upset and angry and calling for all kinds of violence, and it's really unfortunate, man. Not just because you're seeing a lot of black people doing these things. It's because that they don't really know what's going on. There's a lot of ignorant people out there. So you're the one that's gonna have to pull them across, or they're just gonna have to see it for themselves. Probably both still. But outside of them, this is going to be an amazing 4 years in my impression. And I'm not even the biggest Donald Trump fan. I don't agree with everything he says. I'm not a Republican, but just from a common sense perspective and seeing what he stands on and what he's for, it's like it was a no brainer for me. It was a no brainer for me. I am definitely not mad or scared of Donald Trump. I kept telling people how many times, like, there's nothing to be afraid of. Like, you're getting caught up in the rhetoric. And I get it because some people are just too sensitive and they can't separate their brain from their logic. You know what I'm saying? Their heart, their mind, like, says one thing, and logically they can't think of the other thing. So this is to teach a lesson to all of these people. A lot of people are going to learn a lot of different things because of this election. You know, we learned that, they didn't rig the election, so that was pretty big. They let him get all his votes, and maybe he would have got more if there was some corruption. But either way, they couldn't. They could not risk another civil war or insurrection, because if they would have did it again, it definitely would have been much worse. Unless it was just a total blowout on the other side, then you got to take it for what it is. So her taking it is pretty big. We commend the job that they put up, even though they're 20 million in debt. And the other aspect about that is Donald Trump offered to pay the 20 mil for him and to show unity. And it's like, man, this is the guy that y'all call misogynist and racist and all these different things. And here he is ready to put up $20 million to help Kamala's debt. Amazing. But yeah, it's a lot of people panicking right now, and I'm just trying to console people and just let them know that there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. We've already survived, dude, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna survive him again. You know, yeah. So on that note, you just gotta, if you have religious beliefs and you have faith in God, you have to ask yourself, God, why did you let Trump be president? Why did you not let Kamala be president? Those are the questions you need to be asking your God. But see, a lot of those people on that side are so out of touch with God that they can't even answer it properly. Yes. So on that note, yeah, we're gonna see what this thing is gonna turn into. I personally believe my prediction as of tonight is that he will go down as the greatest president of all time with everything that he's talking about doing. He might not have time to implement all these things, but I truly believe with all the things that he's going to fix in 1 year alone, I think it's going to put him way up there with some of the greatest presidents of all time, maybe even the best. So I'm time stamping it right now. Y'all can see the date. We gonna lock that in, you know what I'm saying, and see how this thing goes. But definitely excited for a brighter future. Definitely not scared of what he might bring. I'm actually looking forward to him lowering crime. That's gonna be something that I want to see get done. And hopefully he'll put the right people in place. So far, he has the border czar. He's got two women. He's got chief of staff and the UN ambassador who are women. So all that naysaying about him not being a winner is trash. It's just totally falsehood. So we're going to see how this goes, but the one thing you can know and understand is that we were this close to being a part of New World Order and everything that the Democrats have been taking us down that road for how many years. I told my wife tonight, I said, you realize if Kamala would have won, we would have just been back and doing the same old bullshit, just stringing us along like a hamster in a wheel while they take all the money and do all whatever they want to do with the money and the power, right? Well, we put a stop to that. All of us collectively, everybody that didn't vote for Kamala in whatever form or fashion, you did that. You did this. You stopped the bullshit. You stopped all this, indoctrinating the kids and attacking of the kids. This is what you stood on. And it's just an amazing thing uh, for everybody to witness and be a part of. We're witnessing history, and I truly believe that this is going to be the golden age of America. So, on that note, I'm going to holler at y'all. Until next time, 100.